अस्सलाम वालेकुम व्यूअर्स, डॉक्टर हबीब असलम गावा आपसे मुखातिब। उम्मीद है आप सब खैरियत से हैं। एक ऐसा इम्पोर्टेंट टॉपिक के जिससे सोसाइटी का हर फर्द, हर पढ़ा लिखा शख्स भरपूर तरीके से फायदा उठा सकता है। स्टार्टअप्स किसी भी बिजनेस के इनिशियल पीरियड जबकि वो ग्रोथ की स्टेज में है, उसमें उसे रहनुमाई, हर तरह की फैसिलिटेशन, गाइडेंस, मेंटोरिंग, ट्रेनिंग की जरूरत होती है। तो उसमें दुनिया के तकरीबन तमाम ममालिक में एक सिस्टम मौजूद है जिसे इनक्यूबेशन सिस्टम कहते हैं। और बहुत से स्टार्टअप आइडियाज और प्रोजेक्ट्स इनक्यूबेशन सिस्टम से होते हुए जब एंजल इन्वेस्टर्स को अपील करते हैं तो वो बाज़-औक़ात उस प्रोजेक्ट को ओन कर लेते हैं और इस तरह आपका एक स्टार्टअप आइडिया पिचिंग की स्टेज से होता हुआ आगे बढ़ता चला जाता है। स्टार्टअप्स की इतनी वैल्यू है कि दुनिया के बहुत से ममालिक आपके स्टार्टअप आइडिया की बेसिस पे आपको इवन परमानेंट रेजिडेंस और इमिग्रेशन तक ऑफर कर देते हैं। मेरे बहुत से लेक्चर्स, डिफरेंट सेमिनार्स और फोरम्स पे एज गेस्ट स्पीकर, एज कीनोट स्पीकर मौजूद हैं और आप सब दोस्तों के भरपूर इसरार की वजह से मैंने उन्हें कंपाइल किया है एक वीडियो की सूरत में जो मैं पेश करने जा रहा हूँ। उम्मीद है आपको मेरी ये काविश पसंद आएगी। अगर आपको हमारी ये काविश पसंद आती है तो याद रखिए कि आपने एक तो बेल आइकन को क्लिक करना है ताकि आने वाली वीडियोस की नोटिफिकेशन आपको मिले, और वीडियो को शेयर करना है, लाइक करना है और चैनल को सब्सक्राइब जरूर करना है। अब हम बढ़ते हैं अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन की तरफ। How can we take part in developing, managing and organizing the startup ecosystems to play an active part leading to sustainable Pakistan's economy? What is startup ecosystem? How does it work? Is the topic of discussion for today. Startup ecosystem क्या है और किस तरह काम करता है, ये हमारा आज का मौजू है। स्टार्टअप दरअसल एक ऐसे बिजनेस को कहते हैं जो कि हाई ग्रोथ फ्यूल्ड बिजनेस है, जिसकी फेलिंग हम करें तो वो हाई ग्रोथ के साथ प्रोजेक्ट तरक्की की तरफ बढ़े अपनी इब्तदाई स्टेजेस में। बाकी बिजनेसेस की तरह शुरू में इसकी यील्ड अनसर्टेन है, लेकिन जब हम इसकी बंडलिंग करें विद द इनोवेशन, क्रिएटिविटी एंड एजिलिटी अप्रोच टू लीड टू ग्रोथ, तो हम देखते हैं कि इंटरडिपेंडेंट सिस्टम ऑफ रिसोर्सेज, कम्युनिटीज और ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस इसकी ग्रोथ को सपोर्ट करती, और ये तमाम निजाम जो है स्टार्टअप इकोसिस्टम कहलाता है। सेथ गॉर्डन जो एक स्टार्टअप फाउंडर है, उसकी बड़ी अच्छी कोट है जो मैं यहाँ पे बतानी चाहूंगा। द ओनली थिंग वर्स देन स्टार्टिंग समथिंग एंड फेलिंग इज नॉट स्टार्टिंग समथिंग एट ऑल। अब हम डिस्कस करेंगे कि स्टार्टअप्स किस तरह एंटरप्रेन्योरियल ग्रोथ यानी कारोबारी तरक्की की तरफ हमें लेके चलते हैं। स्टार्टअप्स बिजनेस की दुनिया में कुछ बज़वर्ड्स की तरह के अल्फाज हैं और आने वाले दौर में लोगों को लर्निंग, जिंदगी गुजारने के तरीके, खाना पीना, कारोबार, सफर, इन सब चीजों में स्टार्टअप्स जो हैं एक रहनुमाई फराहम करेंगे और लीड करेंगे। दुनिया में बहुत से ऐसे कामयाब स्टार्टअप्स की मिसालें मौजूद हैं जिनकी बुनियाद पर बहुत से ममालिक ने बहुत ज्यादा तरक्की की और तरक्की की राह पे दिन दुगनी और रात चुगनी तरक्की करते करते मंजिलें तय करते चले गए। It is to be remembered that entrepreneurs are not born. They are made. Once ignited and then led to incubation, there are certain ways, that is mentoring, training, coaching, consultancy, uplifting them from the hatchery level to the successful entrepreneurship. Certainly, startups play an excellent contributory role in the development of a country. Iqbal has rightly said here that अक़ाबी रूह जब बेदार होती है जवानों में, नजर आती है उनको अपनी मंजिल आसमानों में। Entrepreneurs as a whole need certain resources and conditions in order to succeed. Different imperatives has been discovered for entrepreneurial growth. They comprise maximize entrepreneurial support resources to tell a strong story, that is pitching, creating an innovation pipeline, building entrepreneurial talent, increasing the availability to capital, and engaging the corporate community. The modern knowledge economy is an economic state in which growth depends on information and data as much as physical products. With the huge surge in content and data available to us, knowledge has become more valuable than ever. Leading to the question, how can you harness this, that is information and data, for your business and use it to achieve your growth goals? Knowledge-based economy leading to the content economy are certainly the indicators for the growth and development of a country, and developing startup ecosystems certainly helps here to a greater extent by developing the ecosystem of the knowledge-based economy leading to content economy. Startup ecosystems में दर हकीकत बैकग्राउंड में UNO के सस्टेनेबिलिटी डेवलपमेंट गोल्स का बहुत रोल है. These sustainable development goals or global goals are a collection of 17 interlinked global goals designed as shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for the people and planet, now and into the future. These SDGs were set up in 2015 by the United Nations General Assembly and they are intended to be achieved by 2030. ये सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल्स 17 इंटरलिंक्ड आलमी गोल्स के तौर पे अप्रूव किए गए 2015 में और इन्हें हासिल करना है इन मकासद को 2030 तक. मकसद इनका है दुनिया में अमन कायम करना, खुशहाली कायम करना, लोगों के लिए और कौमों के लिए, सैयारे के लिए. और ये गोल्स UNGA रेजोल्यूशन में शामिल हैं, दैट इज यूनाइटेड नेशंस जनरल असेंबली रेजोल्यूशन, और इसको कहा जाता है एजेंडा 2030. With the help of this goal, keeping in mind, we can build resilient infrastructure with an endeavor to promote sustainable industrialization and foster innovation. If we look at the startup phases of the startup ecosystem, we can see the first phase is attention. As far as the startup ideas are concerned, unconventional startup ideas sometimes they become wildly successful businesses. Brilliant startup ideas sometimes may feel tricky to aspiring entrepreneurs and they may be hesitant to opt these. And this is the reason that more than 35% of the businesses fail because there is no market need for that service or product. Founders normally finance their startups and may attempt to attract outside investment before they get off the ground. Startup, as mentioned earlier, by definition is in the first stages of operation and is founded by one or more entrepreneurs who wish to develop and are enthusiastic, keeping a product or service in mind, and they believe that there is a huge demand for that. While they have the intention to grow rapidly, but they must keep in mind particular market cap. As I mentioned earlier, founders normally finance their startups in the initial stages and they attempt to attract outside investment before they get off the ground. Funding sources, they may include family, friends, venture capitalists, crowdfunding, and loans. Startups, they come with high risk as failure is very possible. But they can also be very unique and they may find certain places to work with, areas where there are great benefits, but the focus must be kept on innovation and great opportunities to learn. As far as startup ecosystem development is concerned, remember it drives local economic vibrancy and national economic growth by building fertile environments for new and growing companies to thrive. Startup founders, they certainly come from various types of organizations, and they may come across the opportunities and may join hands with each other at various stages. In a local physical or virtual interaction, they may develop a system to lead to the startup company with a motivational growth, motivational strategy to lead to the campaign leading to growth. Support organizations and funding organizations as well as research and service provider organizations, we can divide them into universities, incubators, accelerators, co-working spaces, legal and financial services, and large companies. Different organizations, they typically focus on specific parts of the ecosystem function, the synergistic outcomes with entrepreneurial culture, experienced mentors, regulatory environment, collaborative culture, visible successive, risk tolerance, availability of capital, and technical skills. Ideas and teams certainly joined together, they will lead to businesses and organizations with the successes in mind. And this is the dynamism of the startup ecosystem, and one has to keep this in mind while being a part of a startup ecosystem. These are different phases of the startup ecosystem and certainly help the novice as well as the experienced startups to follow these under the vision and mission, a strategy formulation leading to lean startup followed by the scale up growth. And these can be divided into 6 stages, that is ideation, conceptualization, commitment, then validation, then scaling up and establishment. Elements of startup ecosystem. These are idea developers, inventors, researchers, startups at various stages, entrepreneurs, team members, angel investors, mentors, advisors, entrepreneurial minded people, and third-party consultancies and mentoring from other organizations, where all these work together in enabling context to lead towards success. That people exist and operate within ecosystem, and their cumulative effects are large enough among the availability of resources controlled by the internal factors. People and organizations, they contribute together to the development of the ecosystem and then lead to succession and scales, all multiplying together for a synergistic outcome. Similarly, as startup ecosystems are the dynamic entities, they are initially invariably in the formation stages, and once established, they are subject to periodic disturbances like the financial bubbles, and they pass to the recovering processes from some of those past disturbances. Among the important external factors taking part and affecting the development of the startup ecosystems, there are big market disruptions, big companies, financial climate, transitionary factors, and controlling the overall structure of an ecosystem by these factors, and similar environments located in different parts of the world, and they are ending up doing these things differently. Now it is the time where the industry and other key actors of the society, they need to come forward in order to play dynamic role for accelerating the pace of startup ecosystem. Certainly, ignition to incubation is important in the development of the startup ecosystems. And the role of incubators is important to help promising companies by providing resources, access to industry mentors, interactions with other entrepreneurs, and more importantly, the capital to get through the survival stage. In a market where 90% of the startups fail, incubators play a key role in growing the number of sustainable businesses. Sponsors can offer the material support, for example, in the form of cash, contributions, grants. They can help in settling the old debt. They can support in the form of donations, like money given by a company to a non-profit organization. They can help by funding a specific project or event, for example, sustainable efforts or community-focused projects. They can sponsor in the form of goods or equipment, goods like labels, tickets, branded materials, etc. Sponsors can also support in the form of gifts, time, expertise, work or event space, services like volunteering and favoring innovative programs or projects, networking, co-branding, shared spacing, things like that. Basic objective of United Nations Global Goals on Agenda 2030 are focused on people and planet's peace and prosperity, and there isn't a single organization or a person that can create an ecosystem. There must be an involvement of the multitude of organizations and people comprising all the stakeholders, all taking an active part, being supporters to develop the startup ecosystem. Equally, it must be kept in mind that entrepreneurial ecosystem can't actually be created or owned. Rather, with an easy innovative approach, certain conditions must be kept in mind to support the endeavoring members of the startup project to excel and be successful, leading to excellence. Remember, there are certain questions which need to be addressed for a successful startup ecosystem, and these are: who are our entrepreneurs? What are their biggest needs? Where do they go for help right now? And where do they find their next step and next resource? Certain more questions we need to address are: do our support organizations know each other? And do they have coordinated access to the offerings? And then, would our entrepreneurs agree? Next question may be: what industries feed our region's economy, and where are the ideas coming from that will drive new innovations to help grow the economy? Then, how many jobs do our entrepreneurs create? Funding being helpful for the startups and helping to develop and sustain a startup ecosystem in Pakistan. It's important to note that entrepreneurs, they are looking for the ways to fund startups. They have got several options like self-funding, known as bootstrapping, crowdfunding, angel investors, venture capitalists, or bank loans. Startups that chose capital injections go through the different rounds of investment, which are known as seed money. Certain types of support and funding can be available at different stages, that is idea stage, then minimum viable product stage, seed, early growth, maturity growth, and the way forward. Over the last few years, Pakistan's economy has been bettered by a large number of factors of the external environment, comprising high energy prices, supply chain shocks, inflation, COVID pandemic. But in spite of this world of constant shocks, booming startup sector has been playing an active role and turning out to be a silver lining for the country. For example, in 2021, 83 startups, they raised $350 million, whereas in 2022 first quarter, $136 million were raised. So, community sensitization, endeavoring startup talent, angel investors, these are all contributing towards the growth of the country. Certain recent reforms by the Securities and Exchange Commission of Pakistan, that is SECP, which oversees non-banking companies, established legal definition for the startups. Federal government have set up special technology zones. Digital banking policy introduced and finalized in January 2022, and digital banks have now allowed e-wallets, credit investments, and other products among these reforms. There are certain challenges which must be kept in mind before proceeding Among these challenges, we have got the lack of local investors. Certainly, there are more international investors than local angel investors. And the number of international angel investors grew from 5 in 2015 to 37 in 2021. In comparison, there were 11 local investors in 2021 and 10 in 2018. Additionally, local investors, their investment totaled up to $6.9 million, which was 1.9% of the total funds raised at pre-seed and 21.8% at the seed stage. However, international investors, they made 14 deals totaling to $147 million. Just see the difference here. Moreover, time limitation of the professors and mentors, as well as availability of the skilled workforce, they remained important point among the challenges. Founders who have international degrees raise more money than those graduated from local universities. Among other challenges, gender gap is one of the most important challenge too. Gender gap in Pakistan is one of the worst in the world, ranking in the bottom 3. According to the Global Gender Gap Report, Pakistan lies at 153 out of 156 countries. However, there is a progress as far as women being connected to the internet, and entrepreneurship has allowed women in the urban centers to progress to becoming business owners. Gender disparities are prevalent in the startup ecosystem and prevent women-led startups from achieving their full. In addition to these challenges, there are certain opportunities that incubation centers in all the public sector universities from Peshawar to Karachi, especially in the big campuses, they play a major role in the development, organization and sustainability of the startup ecosystem in Pakistan, and they have all the necessary amenities to facilitate the startups. In developed countries, industry-academia linkages are mutually beneficial for the industry, academia and society. The interaction between industry and academia has been a key for economic growth in the developed world. Industrial strengthening requires consultancy, scientific guidance and its R&D improvement. A strong industry-academia linkages ensures that research and development activities in the universities are oriented towards demand in the market and in the society. And it can provide enabling environment for the newcomers with an increased creativity and certainly guarantees the enhanced competitiveness. Startups generate competition and inspire individuals to be more pioneering and inventive. Startups are the small entities, but they play a dominant role in economic growth. The reason behind this is that they generate jobs and contribute to the community by lowering unemployment rates, which means an economy that is refining and improving. New entrepreneurs certainly have new novel ideas to present, and they stir even more innovation and creativity. Impact certainly matters, especially when it comes in investing in promising things. Especially in the long term, clean energy and disease prevention will be having a global impact, and this will certainly fulfill the Agenda 2030 and accomplishing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Here, I would like to present an important quote by Brad Feld, that is, building a startup community is not a zero-sum game in which there are winners and losers. If everyone engages, they and the entire community can all be winners. With this, viewers, I will hope that you will certainly subscribe to our channel and will not forget to click the bell icon for the future notifications. Thank you very much indeed for your time. Best regards. Allah Hafiz.